Coming up, we've got an inside look at club baseball here at Trinity, how the club came to be and what the team means to its players.
And Trinity announced its updated transgender athletics policy, what that means for students, and how campus journalists have pushed back against this announcement.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Good afternoon and welcome back to Newswave. Today is Friday, March 28th. I'm Michaela Mendoza.
And I'm Cynthia Morales.
Trinity made local headlines last week after outlining the university's new transgender athletics policy, which has drawn heavy criticism from student groups. Last Wednesday at 5 p.m., students were BCC'd in an unsigned email announcing the school had reconsidered its policy on trans athletics to reflect the recently updated NCAA transgender participation policy. This change to the NCAA's policy was designed in response to President Trump's Executive Order 14201, titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports. Almost immediately, Trinity drew criticism for its compliance with the NCAA and the callousness of the email announcing the change. Last Thursday, Trinity's student-run newspaper, The Trinitonian, published a fiercely worded opinion piece from the paper's sports editor and a piece from the paper's editorial staff condemning the university's decision. The editorial criticized the lack of support offered to the community by the email and claimed that the policy update operates against one of the university's core values of intentional inclusion. While the Vice President for Student Affairs, Andrew Wells, issued an email that Thursday elaborating on the rationale for the decision and resources available to students, the university has not issued a formal apology.
Earlier this week, Newswave reporter Odalis Caballero spoke with members of the club baseball team. Check it out.
Baseball has officially made its debut at Trinity University this spring semester. What started as a student-led initiative has quickly grown into a space where Trinity students can come together and compete. From the very beginning, the students behind club baseball wanted to create something meaningful, a chance to leave a mark and build something that will last beyond their Trinity years. The club baseball team has quickly evolved into a thriving organization where athletes of all experience levels can come together, compete, and share their love for the game. Founded by a Trinity student, Ben Waldner, the club was created to provide a space for students to play baseball in an inclusive and welcoming environment. The goal was never just about playing games, but about creating a community where students can form lasting friendships and grow as players and teammates. To learn more about how the team got started, we spoke with the club's founder to get insight on the team.
My name is Ben Waldner. I'm a junior here at Trinity University, majoring in physics with computer science. I started the club baseball team in the spring of my freshman year, so that would be spring of 2023. I started the team because I wanted there to be a community for people on campus who loved baseball. The athletic staff has been super helpful with me, especially Kristen Harrison, helping me with creating t-shirts, custom t-shirts, scheduling practices, getting me all the equipment I need, anything I needed for support. Trinity was really there for me to help me, so I really appreciate the school for that. Yeah, I'm really glad that I was able to bring this team together.
Each week, club members take to the field for practices, running drills, scrimmaging, and preparing for upcoming games. Whether they are experienced players looking for competitive play or newcomers wanting to try their hand at the sport, the team welcomes all skill levels. For many students, joining the club is more than just an opportunity to play baseball. It is a way to connect with peers, stay active, and be a part of something bigger than themselves. We spoke to one of the current players on why they joined the team and what they look forward to this season.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm a junior here at Trinity, majoring in mathematical finance. I joined club baseball because I hadn't played in a while and I was looking to meet some new people. I'm looking forward to playing in some games later on in the year and developing as a team.
The club has already gained momentum, drawing interest from students across different majors and class years. The team is currently preparing for its first game of the season, which will take place in a couple weeks at the Trinity baseball field. As the club looks ahead for more games, more members, and more milestones, one thing is for sure. This is just the beginning for the Trinity Club baseball team.
As is tradition, Trinity's Outdoor Recreation Club, otherwise known as OREC, took their annual Big Bend trip over spring break. After a long 8-hour drive through West Texas, the group camped under the stars in preparation for their big trip. Their first full day consisted of hiking a 10-mile trail up to Emery Peak, while the next few days were all about canoeing down the Rio Grande River and simply enjoying our state's natural beauty. According to the junior trip leader, Kaya Camry, quote, "If I'm stressed about an exam, it feels like everything. But when you're hiking up a cliff, a mistake actually has consequences, and it makes homework not as big," end quote. OREC has a lot more trips planned in the future, so keep an eye out for their next adventure.
A new friendly feline has joined the Trinicats at Trinity. Sweet Pea, a stout brown cat approximately 5 years old, has taken up residence near Murchison Hall. According to the Trinitonian, sophomore Nicole Cintron Cardona discovered him during a rainy day at the start of the spring semester. His gentle nature made him easy to welcome into the campus community of feline residents. Senior Maggie Enriquez named him Sweet Pea, saying, quote, "He's a sweet pea." He's known for actively seeking human attention, often sitting on students' laptops as they work. This friendly behavior has made him a quick favorite among the students. First-year Addie Doss described him as, quote, "very nonchalant, just chillin' like a villain," end quote. Students are enjoying the comforting presence of this new addition to the campus cats and the joy he brings to their daily lives. We here at Newswave love our Trinicats and will continue to keep you updated on our furry friends around campus.
Still coming up, we've got headlines from across the state of Texas.
And a word on next week's weather from Newswave's chief meteorologist.
Newswave will be right back after this short message.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Welcome back to Newswave. Federal Judge Xavier Rodriguez has ruled that Texas ID requirements for mail-in ballots are unconstitutional. According to the Texas Tribune, Judge Rodriguez found the regulations in the voter security law passed in 2021 to be discriminatory against disabled people, as they make up a percentage of mail-in voters. Since the law was created, many voters reported not having their votes counted due to not providing an ID number that matched the state's election system. An attorney, Victor Jennison, says, quote, "The problem with that is that many Texans have more than one Department of Public Safety ID number. So the first hurdle for a voter who's applying for an absentee ballot is that they may not know which number is in the election system," end quote. This proved to be a major problem, as more than 2 million people were unable to vote because of the ID restriction. Elise Koch Holmes, the co-plaintiff in the case, was happy with the outcome and said, quote, "It really does provide an opportunity for the 3 million plus voters with disabilities in Texas to be able to exercise their rights to vote without undue hardship, and ensures that their voices will be heard and that their votes will actually count," end quote. The ruling demanded the ID requirement be removed. However, they will remain in place for Texas municipal elections on May 3rd and will be removed after that. Texas is expected to appeal the decision.
Texas Republicans are intensifying efforts to further restrict abortion access, despite the state of Texas already having one of the nation's strictest bans. Lawmakers have introduced a series of bills aiming to limit the distribution of abortion pills and prevent residents from seeking abortions outside Texas. According to the San Antonio Current, this legislative push is the party's commitment to tightening abortion regulations following the state's previous enactment of stringent abortion laws. Notable bills such as the SB 2880 and HB 5510 are attempts to remove access to medication and financial resources related to abortions. SB 2625, HB 4593, and HB 1651 would require abortion providers to administer medication or any decisions in person. SB 33 is aiming at stopping cities and counties from supporting abortion funds. Lastly, SB 619, HB 2816, and SB 1985 would allow medical officials to have the option to refuse to provide specific healthcare services based on their personal conscience objections. As this continues to develop, we here at Newswave will keep you informed.
Trinity and San Antonio received some much-needed rain this past week. For more on what to expect next week, Newswave Chief Meteorologist Luke Morden has your weekly weather update.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another week of weather. Some of y'all might have gotten pretty wet this past week, with Wednesday and Thursday being quite gray and rainy. However, that rain will go away this weekend and the heat will start to turn up. Look for partly to mostly sunny skies on both Saturday and Sunday, with highs in the upper 80s to near 90. If you plan on going outdoors this last weekend of March, be sure to wear plenty of sunscreen and stay hydrated. The beginning of next week looks nice. It should be a bit cooler with highs near 80 and lows in the mid to upper 50s. Skies should remain partly cloudy. We turn up the heat again towards the end of the week with highs back toward 90. It's hard to believe that we're almost in April, so be sure to soak in the weather before it gets too warm. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Luke. San Antonio's vibrant nightlife offers a plethora of dance venues catering to diverse music tastes and atmospheres. These places are a great way to blow off some steam after a stressful week or just to have a fun night. From the historic Bonham Exchange, known for its inclusive environment and sprawling 3-story layout, to the La Honky Tonk, which describes itself as, quote, San Antonio's hottest, newest cowgirl honky tonk, and is the perfect spot to do with your girlfriends. For a classic Texas experience, Green Hall is Texas' oldest continuously operating dance hall and books up both incoming country artists and American touring acts. El Honky Tonk provides an old-fashioned bar, experience with updated perk sets, and for more dancing, Brass Monkey and Cowboys Dancing Hall is a local Trinity favorite for dancers of all skill levels. These establishments, among others, contribute to the rich tapestry of San Antonio's dancing, which both locals and visitors enjoy.
Still coming up, Newswave is tracking wildfires on the East Coast, and we've got a deep dive into blossoming carbon capture technology. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back in 30 seconds. Earlier this week, firefighters in Polk County, North Carolina, sought to contain 3 wildfires. According to ABC News, the fires have burned more than 5,700 acres of forest land about 40 miles southeast of Asheville. Collectively referred to as the Black Cove Complex, the fires have been fueled by downed trees and dry vegetation left over from Hurricane Helene, which swept through the area last September. The Black Cove Complex began late last week, and as of Tuesday morning, authorities have been unable to contain the blazes due to the steep terrain they inhabit. Firefighters in the area have reported that no structures are currently under threat and no injuries have been reported. Nonetheless, fire dangers for Polk County have gone up throughout the week as 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts of wind swept through North Carolina on Wednesday afternoon. Citizens in the area have been advised to monitor local news and social media for updates and be prepared to evacuate should it become necessary.
This past week, a 12-year-old student at Wallace Middle School in Waterbury, Connecticut, has been charged with a hate crime after allegedly assaulting two Muslim sisters in a gym locker room. The assault occurred in the girls' locker room where the student accused reportedly pulled off the sisters' hijabs, punched one in the face, and left the other with a cut around her neck. The Council of the American Islamic Relations, CAIR, stated that the attack was motivated by religion and described the violence as brutal. Following this incident, the CAIR explains, quote, "We've heard from many parents of Muslim children in Waterbury who have said that their children too have been bullied. Cases where women wearing hijab or girls wearing hijabs face harassment for that as well," end quote. Although police and school officials have responded with enhanced safety measures, advocates believe such bullying is a symptomatic issue that the community needs to address.
Despite global awareness of climate change, humans still produce 6 million tons of greenhouse gases per hour. To combat this, companies such as 1.5 are utilizing carbon capture. Using direct air capture technology, carbon dioxide molecules are sucked out of the air and absorbed into a liquid in a treatment facility. The air product is then released back into the atmosphere while the carbon dioxide is turned into pellets. Lori Geter, a commercial strategist for 1.5, says that these plants can pull 500,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year. However, Stanford professor of environmental engineering, Mark Jacobson, says that carbon capture is, quote, "not a real solution," end quote. Jacobson took issue with the resources needed to operate carbon capture facilities, citing that using renewable energy to remove gas and coal pollution does not target the source of greenhouse gases. Most air capture companies are backed by the oil industry, which, according to Jacobson, allows the companies to keep polluting. Overall, the carbon removal industry will continue to expand as concerns about climate change continue to rise.
Last Friday, famous boxing champion George Foreman tragically passed away at 76 years old. Foreman was a two-time heavyweight champion and won gold at the 1868 Mexico City Olympics. He won his very first heavyweight title at the young age of 24, when he had a stunning knockout of the then undefeated world champion Joe Frazier in 1972. Outside the ring in retirement, he was also found success by creating the new omnipresent countertop grill, named after himself and his family. His loved ones announced his passing on Instagram, saying, quote, "A devout preacher, a devoted husband, a loving father, and a proud grand and great-grandfather. He lived a life marked by unwavering faith, humility, and purpose," end quote. We here at Newswave honor his legacy and the profound impact he had on the sport of boxing.
Up ahead, last Sunday, Pope Francis was discharged from the hospital, and yesterday, baseball fans around the country celebrated opening day for Major League Baseball. Newswave sports editor Caleb Reed has your weekly update after this short message.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Good afternoon and welcome back to sports. A lot of news both on and off campus, so let's go ahead and hop right into it. First off, Trinity Baseball has started to make their final push of the season, wrapping up another conference series in a straight sweep. Trinity played at Ozarks last weekend, making the 10-hour trip to Clarksville, Arkansas for the three-game series. The first game of the Friday doubleheader was an absolute classic, with Trinity claiming an 11-10 win that went down to the final inning. Both teams were hot to start with a 5-3 score after the fifth inning, but it didn't stop there. Both teams scored 2 in the 6th and then 3 in the 7th to give Trinity a 10-8 lead, And finally, a Max Milligan home run in the top of the ninth was enough to hold off a late push by Ozarks. Trinity won 6-3 and 7-5 in the following games, picking up their 19th win of the season and their 14th in conference play. They play on the road in Irving, Texas this weekend against the University of Dallas, with a doubleheader tomorrow and a Sunday game number 3. Trinity softball was at home for the second consecutive weekend against conference opponents, taking down the Concordia University Tornadoes in a 3-game sweep. Concordia scored first in every single game last weekend, but Trinity responded when it mattered to claim dominant victories and continue to push through the conference. Trinity won game number 1 with an 11-2 final score in 5 innings, and then won both games of the Saturday doubleheader 5-2 and 6-2 respectively. Despite losing a midweek rematch against Texas Lutheran, Trinity sits strong at second in the conference and will look to continue their form against a strong Southwestern squad this weekend. Meanwhile, in tennis news, the Trinity women's team has earned a top 10 ranking in the latest ITA polls, earning an 8th place ranking at the national level. The team has been lifted by key players such as Rosabella Andrade and Ruth Hill on the singles side, while the duo of Andrade and Trinity Levy have been leaders for the team in doubles competition this season. Meanwhile, in F1 news, the Chinese Grand Prix was a wild weekend, starting with the sprint. Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton earned his first win with the Ferrari in the 19-lap shootout, holding off rivals on the twisty turns of the Shanghai circuit. Sunday would not prove to be as successful for the Tifosi, however, as a shocking double disqualification for the pair of Hamilton as well as Charles Leclerc put another blow on an already down season. Hamilton was disqualified due to excessive wear on his car's plank, a small strip of wood on the bottom of the car that was introduced in 1994, meant to prevent teams from running their cars too low to the ground. Leclerc's plank was intact, but he was still disqualified due to failing the post-race weight inspection. He was joined by Alpine's Pierre Gasly for the same infraction, making it the first time since 2004 that 3 drivers were disqualified in the same race, and the first double disqualification in the history of the Ferrari team. Oscar Piastri claimed the win over teammate Lando Norris, who had to hang on for the final few laps due to failing brakes. Also following the Chinese Grand Prix, there was a massive shock in the F1 world as it was announced that Red Bull would be changing their driver lineup for just 2 races into the 24-race season. Rookie Liam Lawson has underperformed in the car that has been described as, quote, difficult to drive by 3-time world champion Max Verstappen, and has failed to make it out of the first qualifying session or finish better than 15th in either race or qualifying session so far this year. Yuki Tsunoda will now get his first taste of the Red Bull at his home race at the Japanese Grand Prix, with Lawson demoted to Racing Bulls, which is Red Bull's junior team, for the rest of the season. Meanwhile, IndyCar continued their season with a tough outing at the Thermal Club in California, with Alex Palou taking another victory on the season. Palou came through at the end of the race, taking the lead and the win from Pato O'Ward, who led 51 of the race's 64 laps after a thrilling back-and-forth battle. Unfortunately for fans at home, they weren't able to see a large portion of the race as a blackout hit the media center and cut the live broadcast for around 10 to 15 minutes. The incident was ultimately resolved, but it serves as another black eye on the Fox broadcasts in its first season of hosting IndyCar after graphical glitches plagued the opening round at St. Petersburg. And finally, in baseball, yesterday was the day that fans have waited all year to come, opening day across the country. The defending World Series champion LA Dodgers have already played 2 games in Japan to start the year at 2-0, but they played at home to open their season officially in prime time against the Detroit Tigers. The team that they beat in the World Series, the American League champion New York Yankees, opened their season at home as well, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers in New York. The Yankees won their season opener 4-2 and will play again tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Texas Rangers hosted the Boston Red Sox to open their season, with a close game throughout, resulting in a 5-2 win for Boston. And finally, the Houston Astros also hosted their opening day, taking down the New York Mets, winning in that game. I believe it was 3-2 in that final. That is all from me. I hope that y'all have a great weekend and take care.
Last Saturday, Ukraine and Russia engaged in cross-border deadly drone attacks and long-range strikes. These attacks continued through Sunday from both sides, despite agreeing to a limited ceasefire last week. Kyiv and Moscow's understanding of what the ceasefire would entail differed from one another, sparking the attacks. 3 people were killed, with at least 10 people injured from a drone attack in Kyiv. According to Ukraine's Air Force, 147 drones were launched into the country, resulting in 97 being shot down and 25 lost in flight with no damage control. While air defense engaged a massive number of incoming UAVs, or unnamed vehicles, Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko urged citizens to seek any possible cover and reported falling debris and fire in 3 districts of the capital. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had this to say about the attacks, quote, "We must strengthen Ukraine and our army. More air defense and real assistance. I thank all partners who understand this and continue to support Ukraine," end quote. As of now, Ukrainian and American negotiators are due to meet again in Saudi Arabia on Monday in hopes of finding a resolution with the details of the original proposed ceasefire.
On Sunday night, a hospital in southern Gaza was hit by an Israeli airstrike claiming to be aiming for, quote, a key terrorist in the Hamas terrorist organization who was operating inside, end quote. It was reported that Ismaili Barhoum, a member of the Hamas political group, along with his nephew, were among those that were added to the death count from the airstrike. This is not the first time that the Nasser medical complex has been hit. The most current strike resulted in multiple deaths and a fire ensuing after. According to the Geneva Conventions, hospitals are supposed to be granted special protection except for under extremely limited circumstances, such as committing, quote, an act harmful to the enemy, end quote.
Last Sunday, Pope Francis made his first public appearance since being hospitalized with a serious case of pneumonia. Before the Pope was released from the hospital, he was escorted in his wheelchair to the hospital balcony, where he greeted a large crowd outside with a thumbs up, signaling the worst of the illness was done. There was a time during the Pope's battle with pneumonia when it looked like this day might not come. Dr. Sergio Alfieri, the Gemelli Hospital director, noted that there were some uncertain times for the Pope, saying, quote, during his hospitalization, he presented 2 critical episodes during which the Holy Father's life was in danger, end quote. According to CBS News, Pope Francis dealt with a respiratory crisis, mid-kidney failure, and had a coughing fit that forced him to use a respirator. Despite all of that, the Pope is scheduled for a 2-month recovery period at the Vatican, where he can rest and fully recover from the illness that almost took his life.
Sadly, that is all the time we have for today.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next Friday, April 4th, at our regularly scheduled airtime. Until then, I'm Michaela Mendoza.
And I'm Cynthia Morales. Enjoy your weekend.